Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name is David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hello.
No James Farley. He is away for 5 weeks. And I was thinking maybe I'll start this next week because I didn't come up with of releasing a James Farley fact for our listeners and keep going, see if it'll make him come back quicker. Okay, all right. No, I'll do my first James Farley fact. And if you're listening, James, the sooner you come back, the less of my James Farley facts get out there to our listeners. This is true. James Farley has one pair of pants that he wears once a week that he's owned for 10 years. So there you go.
When you say pants, you mean underpants, yeah?
Underpants, yeah. We're British, yeah. He's had a pair of pants that he's owned for 10 years, and he still wears them once a week. So that's your first James Farley fact.
What's the gusset like on that now?
Well, I didn't go into details. I didn't go into details. I will give you another Farley fact next week. And James, if you're listening, the sooner you come back, the less of my Farley facts get out there.
I'm going to have to message him about that, because if they're still going, then what's the brand? What's an advert that is?
Shout.
If they're still incredible. If they're not still going, then I need to talk to Chen.
It might be like an inheritance, like you can leave those to Asher when he dies.
Still good. I'm pretty sure a nut or two is loose. We'd like to thank our Patreon producers this month. They are the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights are Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Rocketman76, Grey Dragon Claw, Smooth Monkey, Colin Smith, Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Gordon Garrow, Safers Records, Sam Higton, Jonathan Edwards, Fred Fenge, Tom S, Ryan Cabane, Hayes Red Mist, Sonic Fighters champion and Sound Peats enthusiast, Skylar the Simple Farm Boy, immortalised July 2023, and Josh Hunt. They're the Full Nels crew. They went full Nels, and we appreciate them so much. They keep the show alive, and you can do too by going to patreon.com/TCGS. Check out their website, seriously, patreon.com/TCGS, and sign up to one of the tiers there for bonus shows, bonus content, or going full Nels. We really do appreciate it. Full Nels! That's it for the Patreon stuff. I should say that a listener got in touch this week. Well, he got in touch last week, and I feel really bad actually because you know how terrible we are. We always forget. We are
things. Terrible,
but
in general,
confirmed.
Ryan sent over a DK rap parody, which we're going to play for you right now because it's absolutely amazing. Are you ready? Have you got this queued up, Sean?
I've got it queued up. So are we gonna? If I do 3, 2, 1, you guys play it locally, so we're all listening in sync. So on 0.
It's gonna be me.
Here we go. Ryan's DK rap.
3, 2, 1, play.
Here we go. So they're finally here, recording for you.
If you like the show, there's a Patreon too.
Put your hands together if you wanna clap.
Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Matt. TC. TCGS. He's the main one of the bunch. You'd better believe.
He's back from his second parental reprieve.
His dominant style. His plain polo shirts. If he shoots ya, it's gonna
be a felony.
He's bigger, faster, and stranger too. He's the first member from the Joy Pod crew. TC. TCGS. TC.
You have Twitch Prime as well. He's back again, and about time too.
And this time, he dropped his food.
He can stab a bunch of guys with his headset on.
With his Legos out, he's one deep Sean.
If you choose him, you're usually right.
If you want to talk a bunch of Destiny shite. TC. TCGS. He has no style. He has no grace.
This man lost a snowboard race.
He can longboard if he needs to.
And intercept cereal intended for you.
And it should be noted, intended for your children. This part cannot be emphasized clearly enough.
He'll make you smile when he acts a fool.
But children beware,
'Cause he's after your cereal.
Stretch.
Finally, he's here for you. It's the best member of the old Spawn crew.
he'll laugh so hard it isn't funny. And if the show's too long, he'll get real grumpy.
Can't open a door with relative ease. He can't be trusted with his relatives' cheese.
He may move slow,
That's
he
genius.
can't jump high.
But this man T-poses all the time.
Well, Ryan,
I mean,
that is
Unbelievable.
absolutely
Superb.
incredible. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for sending that over. Sorry we were so disorganised that we didn't get that played out last week, but there you go. And if anyone wants to send in other parody songs, we are more than welcome to listen to them on TCGS. That is, thank you so much for sending that over. If you want to, it's at Insert Coins. If on Twitter, if you want to go and send your praise Ryan's way, so that's insert spelled INSRT coins on Twitter. So go on, on X. So go and send your love their way. Oh God, yeah. Oh God, this is the world we fucking live in now. Also, before we get to your feedback, I'd just like to say I mentioned it on the bonus show. I haven't mentioned it on the main show yet, but I wanted to give a massive thanks to everyone that supported me on Just Giving. It's Just Giving, yeah. It's keep forgetting the thing. It's for those of you that haven't listened to the bonus show. The 9th of September, I'm doing a Thames Bridge trek, which is a 25k walk across 16 bridges across the Thames in central London. And we're doing it for special effects, which was amazing, actually. It was something that I wanted to, we all get to put toward, suggest our favourite charities. And I've always suggested special effects because we met them. Do you remember, Matt? We met them at Eurogamer Expo,
Yeah, I remember that.
way
Yeah,
back.
yeah, a long old time ago.
And it was crazy because everything had massive queues except for the special effect booth. And we went and sat down and saw some of the most incredible technology at the whole place, right?
Was that the year they had Colin McRae, but you could drive it with your eyes?
Yeah, it was Colin McRae,
you could
So
drive it
good.
with your eyes. So if those of you that don't know what special effect do, they make it possible for disabled people, disabled children to have access to a world of technology that they were never able to before, and that's for video games, of course, leisure, but also for things like using Skype and using a computer in their day-to-day lives. It's absolutely incredible work. Definitely go and just Google special effects. You'll come across their website and see what they do. They've got so many amazing stories about what they do. So anyway, I proposed that we did the Thames Bridge trek for them, and it was approved. And we're going ahead. There's 11 of us doing the 25k walk. And if you'd like to sponsor us, we really, really appreciate it. Then please go to itsjustgiving.com/fundraising/ now sorry, this is a bit of a mouthful. It's Mountford MOUNTFORD -Pigott PIGOTT 1. So that's fundraising /Mountford -Pigott 1. Please, if you can spare, £5, £10, £20, £7,000, then please, we really do appreciate it. And I am not looking forward to September the 9th because that's a long old walk, baby. Across the river.
Because is it going to get? Because that's going to take hours, right? So
yeah, God. Yeah.
How long is it going to be before you put your headphones on and just be like, "Yeah, sorry guys, I don't really want to talk anymore. I'm just gonna."
This is it, isn't it? My best mate from work is doing it as well, so that's going to help.
Yeah.
But even then, it's gonna be a struggle, right?
Yeah.
Hours of just walking alongside, and then because you're going to be grumpy as well. And what I'm not looking forward to is getting to Bridge 8 and going, well, we've got another 8 of them to go. This is killing me. So
Are you going to take up Pokemon Go?
Might as well.
Get some eggs hatched, mate.
Zero interest in that, mate.
Okay. Well, it's good.
No.
It's good fun.
Do you want me to take your phone?
Nope. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pay you. I won't donate, but I will pay you to play Pokemon Go on my phone.
But seriously, one of the most amazing things is seeing how many people have said, oh, "I'm a TCGS listener" on the Just Giving page, and you know we're currently at £1,700, which is more than I ever thought we could get in the first place. But yeah, absolutely blown away with our listeners' generosity. So thank you very much. Feedback, Matt.
Oh, are we not going to talk about someone not being here?
Oh,
we don't have to. I wasn't. We said earlier we would. I'm not.
Sean was a bit excited. Yeah, no. John Denton was supposed to be here today, and so I wanted to get John Denton back on the show for a while. As long-time listeners know that he was Sean's replacement when Sean was on, and he sort of joined at a kind of turbulent time in the TCGS history. Some characters were being outplayed, and it was all sort of entering a new era of where we were going. And so anyway, I've been asking him to come in, and he keeps going, no. The last time I asked him, I said, do you want to come on the show? He went, oh no, the weather might be bad. And I was like, right, okay, that's the worst excuse I've ever heard anyone give us for not coming on the pod, right? So I just thought, right, I'm never going to ask him again. Never going to ask him. And then he sort of said, well, when are you going to ask me on the show again? And I went, well, I was never going to ask you because you said the weather might be bad. He went, yeah, but I'm in a conservatory and it might... So anyway, we set a date. It was supposed to be tonight, right? And suddenly he gets an invite to go and see The Weeknd at Paris. You know, he went to see them a couple of weeks ago in London, right? Didn't get to meet The Weeknd, so he went all the way over to Paris just to meet The Weeknd. That's what he wanted. He heard all the hits again, all the same songs,
all the
again.
biggies.
Blinded by the lights. That one. He listened to that, and instantly he texted me today. He was in Paris last night watching The Weeknd. He texted me today saying, have you seen the weather tonight? And I thought, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Well, because when you explained this earlier, I just thought, I mean, this isn't John's fault, but I was just like, surely that just means, especially in the UK, that's always going to be a risk, especially during what appears to be the fucking wettest summer we've ever had.
I know, yeah. So then he goes, have you seen the weather tonight? And I thought, and then I looked at it and I thought, actually, it's pretty dry now. It's all right. And then he just went, yeah, listen, mate, I'm tired. It's like, well, there's the real reason then.
So I was going to say, like, the rain thing, I think we just embrace it. I think we just include the rain in the recording and then just put it, it's like it's an ASMR thing.
Next week, he's not allowed to quit because of the rain. Okay, all right. Also, I'm too tired is not an excuse, John, if you're listening, because James would use that every week if he could.
Yeah, we'd never see him again.
He certainly tried.
We've not seen him we're not going to see him for about a month now anyway, so maybe he could use that excuse. John will be on the show next week, but for now, it's just
depending on the weather.
Feedback, Matt. Last week's show, they all loved it.
Yes, Harrison Hunt. Tattoo suggestions for me and James's bet. If James loses, he should get a tattoo of Heavy Rain in the Comic Sans font. If Matt loses, he should get a tattoo of I Summoned on Ornstein and Smo in the Papyrus font. Or the loser should get a tattoo which says TGCS, wrong on purpose, with the video game show underneath.
That's quite good.
That's a really good suggestion. I like that. Matt, how worried are you about this?
Quite worried, actually, yeah.
I was thinking today, like, why has it got to this point? It was like it with the milk race, and I was thinking, how have we got to a point where the milk race is happening?
Yeah. But the milk race wasn't permanent on my body forever.
But this is what I'm saying. This is even worse. And here you are, prepared to get a tattoo.
I just thought it would be good content.
Choosing.
I mean, it will.
It's going to be excellent content.
Yeah, it will be good content, no doubt about that.
Content.
That's the thing, is that I can't even remember who's on what side, and I don't even care who wins or loses, because it's just going to be funny, no matter what.
I just had a thought, what if one of them's got to get the Halo 2 with the date tattoo?
I think hopefully we'll be kind to each other, but I don't know.
Well, this is it, right? So when's the game coming out? Is it this year or next year?
Next year.
Right. So we need to, about a month before it launches, we need to put a section of the show aside where you two barter where basically you've both got to come up with suggestions and both accept what the tattoo is. Yeah, locked in. You're not allowed to suggest what your own tattoo is going to be. It's got to be coming from the other person, but you've got to sort of negotiate what you're going to settle on, right, before, so that there's no... Because what I don't want is for James to win and then suddenly say, right, you're getting heavy rain tattooed on your forehead. You know, it's not going to
yeah,
work.
well, I
like
wouldn't do it anyway. That's insane.
Well, you know, you might have had to, unless I stepped in there with my ideas. So, yeah, we will do that next year, early next year for sure. During one of the dramas, baby.
The reason it is happening is because at the time I was probably, I don't know, feeling happy or content or confident, and I was like, I just agree.
It's always a risk, isn't it?
It is, yeah. if I had been a little bit depressed, I'm like, fuck off, mate, I'm not doing that.
I was like,
yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Do you know? I think if you want my analysis of why we've ended up here, I'll tell you why it is. I genuinely don't think James gives a shit, because if he gets it, you know, on his back where no one sees it or whatever, he won't care, right? I know James, he won't give a shit, won't be doing it. But it was the fact that James was so open to the idea. Matt thought, well, I've
can't back down.
I mean, James,
I can't.
I've got to be up. James was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then Matt was like, okay, I'll do it.
It's because I've wanted a tattoo for so long as well. I don't want that to be my first one.
Well, you'd have to get one before then.
Yeah, just get another one in now.
Actually, I met with a mate, Joe, and there's two mates called Joe on the weekend, and they were discussing this, and I was like, maybe I'll just get like a whole sleeve of tattoos before then. So by the time that comes round, that's like, I don't even think about it. Get what you want, wherever you want. I literally don't care. I've got like 100 already on my arm.
I don't think you'll ever get to that point. I don't think you'll ever get to the point where you're saying, do whatever you want, wherever you want. I'm fine with it.
I'm sure. I think if people have like shitloads of tattoos and there's so many you can barely see the skin, yeah, I'm sure at some point they'll like just do whatever. I'm sure.
I gather the whole thing is weirdly addictive once you get your first.
Oh god, yeah.
I'm the worst person to get one in.
Okay. All right. Go on then. Next.
Kirsty has messaged. I've been waiting. So I'll start again. Kirsty, I've been waiting for someone to send in this bit of feedback, but as it hasn't happened yet, I guess I'll have to do it myself. Sorry to be adding to the mountain of feedback after the con episode, but it's all been well deserved. Imagine the government pebbling over the beaches on the south coast to stop people from hanging around. What a national scandal. They may as well just tarmac over the lot of them. As someone who used to frequent Sunderland in my youth, I was so happy that the con was there, and it was great hearing the northeast accent on the pod. Finally, the northeast being acknowledged, until the end, that is, when the staff at Lasercrest Sheffield were thanked.
Yeah, that was bad, wasn't it? I tell you why that was. I was just so out of it. I did that on the Monday morning after we got back. And I was just completely, I didn't know where I was, so I do apologise. I did fuck that up, and thank Sheffield is there. I will say that everyone listened to it and no one pointed it out from the team. But, you know,
Matt did.
After it went out, Sean,
okay.
after it went live.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, I did put it in there and say, can people listen to this before it goes out?
And we went, nah, busy, mate.
Busy lives.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it was my fault. I said the wrong place. But
yeah, but equally, like you had to put that show together in the week that we agreed we weren't doing a show. So I can't really complain.
Yeah, it's true. My favorite, my favorite when we were in Sunderland. My favorite interaction I had with someone was the two guys from Newcastle that said that when they were listening to the pod and we were announcing where the next TCGS con was, they were like, well, it's going to be London. It's going to be, you know, when they heard Sunderland, they were like, why? But they were over the moon. I thought it was really cool. Really cool that they were like, oh my god, they're flying down the road. Let's do that.
Yeah, I remember you talking to him actually at the con. You know, I love Arctic Monkeys as well. So, Full Monty, what a film! Because they're both.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Big Bad Gary Dutton, UK's #1 Gary, has messaged. Hello, lads.
They don't always hit home.
You've got to try. You've put
Can't
them out there.
Can't all be zingers.
Yeah, I mean, they deserve more, but whatever.
I wonder, but you know, all the people that message us short and go, "Oh, you missed all of Matt's great gags this week." I wonder what they make of that one.
Someone would have found that funny. Not sure who, but you know, yeah. I'll workshop out and maybe improve it next time. Big Bad Gary Dutton, the UK's #1 Gary. Hello, lads. Just a bit of feedback in support of Matt. You all spent a long time making fun of Matt last week for having a big ego, but I thought it showed great humility on his part when he said, obviously, The Rock is bigger than me physically. Good show otherwise. Very tight edit. So well done to whoever did it last week. And great work, Dave, on playing host and keeping it moving as always.
All right, Gary, what's going on here? Is that you buttering me up for something? Is this?
Well, this is what he does now, because we made those comments about people not giving us enough general support. So he always chucks that in. It's quite good of him, I think.
To the plate. Okay, well, appreciate it, Gary. Yeah,
very,
appreciate
very
that.
good, Gary. Charlie, and also Rafi, who wrote in basically saying the same thing, has written in. Dear TCGS, first time writing in since I started listening in 2018, back when Sean did those intros to the news. Absolutely loved the show, and it's been an absolute highlight of my week. I had to write in to back up the Steam Deck. I bought one around December last year after listening to Sean rave about it, and it does absolutely anything I can throw at it. I stream PS5 games with minimal latency, takes about the same amount of tinkering as getting the Xbox Cloud running, and I even played most of Jedi Survivor that way. Sometimes I feel like I don't make the most of it because it works so well for streaming. I find myself gravitating to that. It makes me wonder what the new Sony handheld will be able to do that Steam Deck can't. I can play Game Pass games through xCloud, PlayStation through Remote Play, and Switch for emulation, plus PC games. The handheld space seems really exciting at the moment, and various deck competitors launching. I just don't see how Sony's streamer can fit in there.
It's a fair point. It is a fair point.
It's a load of fair points. Did I tell you about Jedi?
What worries me about the Steam Deck is the way Sean does this, right? It's not a dig, Sean. It's not a dig. But you do this when you talk about the Steam Deck, and when I'm talking about maybe buying one, you go, yeah, it can do this. It's great. It's great. A little bit of tinkering, but it's got loads of games, and you've got to fuck around a little bit. But if you get this, and I'm like, whoa, go back. What was that little bit that you dropped in there? Don't worry about that. So, right, okay. I'm like,
it's funny, because
disclaimers in there.
I think I've said before, coming to it as a Steam PC user, I'm like, oh man, this is really console-ish. But coming to it as a console user, you'd be like, what's going on? Why do I have to?
Yeah.
No, it really isn't that bad. It's like I say, it's when you dig into setting up. It's Linux, Dave. It doesn't have. I can't remember what it has instead, but it has something else.
Oh, you've really embarrassed yourself there.
Yeah, I fucked it. That's
a shame.
But yeah, setting up xCloud just as an app that you can just open like any other game or whatever. That stuff is doable. It will take you 15 minutes of following a guide. But part of you is like, yeah, but it shouldn't even take that, really. Why isn't it just a thing? But yeah, it's good. I love it.
All right.
Yeah, I wonder when they'll release or announce a sequel.
I mean, it keeps selling out still.
I think at this point I'll wait for the sequel, but
yeah, because
do we
it was
call
part of the
follow-up
big
console sequels? I don't think we do.
No, probably not.
Okay, you trying to get that to catch on?
A worse one.
Here's a sequel, but yeah, I mean the follow-up. Yeah, I don't know, Steam Deck 2.
All right.
But yeah, because they had that the big Steam summer sale. What was it, a month or so back, and they were like, "Hey, the Steam Deck's 10% off," and they went in fucking 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, I was tempted. I was tempted. I did not take the plunge. Yep. Okay.
Dave Hodgkins. We're going to end with Dave's feedback. Look, I've made a bunch of sandwiches. Have a sandwich. Give us some money if you want, but don't worry. You're more than welcome to come and play in this park.
If you put this together, oh my God, Dave, you're gonna have to send that in again next week. For those that know, no. All right. Do you know what that is, Sean?
I remember the sentence, but I can't. The context is lost.
Do you remember who said it?
Was it not? Was it Dave?
No, it was Denson.
Oh.
John Denson at the end of a Chet and John's. He went on some really random tangent at the end of one about DLC and how it wasn't intrusive.
Yes.
And he said, "Look, I made a bunch of sandwiches. Have a sandwich. Give us some money if you want, but don't worry, you're more than welcome to come and play in this park."
Sorry, if I'd realised, I'd have kept that in the dot and not put it in this week. Apologies, John. I fucked it. Apologies, anyway. Dave Hodgkins. I fucked it.
I remember Chet's comment after that was, "Where did the park come from?" Because there was no mention of a park. It's just a high quality moment.
Yes.
Right.
That's your feedback. Go to tcgs.co/deartcgs to leave your feedback.
Sean.
Hello.
You got the news.
Yeah. Sources claim that Nintendo is targeting late 2024 with a next-gen console.
That's what we said, wasn't it?
That's according to Video Games Chronicle, multiple people with knowledge of Nintendo's next-gen console plans. The company is likely to release a new hardware during the second half of 2024. So basically, I think it's like dev kits are on the way out, and the plan is basically they're building up stock because they don't want to run into the shortages we saw with the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles. I mean, that is kind of it. That's the beginning and end of the story.
Well, the bit that gets me, there's a few details given, isn't there? And one of them is that they will they will not go in with an OLED screen.
Yes.
With the next one. It still be like a Switch, apparently. But it will go in with an LCD screen rather than an OLED screen. I don't know how to feel about that.
It's weird that there's one element of it that is a downgrade from like your current one.
Yeah. That it is a downgrade. It will be a downgrade. If I buy Nintendo's new console, I'm sure it'll be more powerful, whatever. But the screen will be a downgrade. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's just going to be frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but in 2 years, I mean, well, if it's releasing in 18 months' time, I mean, they've obviously bought probably so many LCD screens to make it cheap as chips that that's the reason. But it's just like shame when in 2 years' time you think OLEDs have even cheaper, but at this point they bought the stock years ago. But it's disappointing. I mean, you'll get used to bezels,
it. Like, I want a tiny bezel. As long as if there's a tiny bezel, then okay. But
no, actually, bigger bezels than the current Switch. Tiny screen, smaller screen,
postage stamp.
Yeah,
even the body's even bigger.
I mean, I'm kind of like arguing against myself here because I bought the OLED, love it, screen's amazing. I play mostly handheld, big fan. But you said at the time, David, like, well, you bought the OLED, but like after a few minutes, you kind of forget you got the OLED.
I could not like drum that point home enough. If you've got a Switch and it's holding together. The biggest problem with my Switch, right, was that it was falling apart because the kids were fucking battering it, right? So I wanted a new one anyway. And I went for the OLED, but I shouldn't have. I should have probably just got a light, actually, for myself, just to finish off the generation with.
Or a Steam Deck.
Or a Steam Deck.
Or a Steam Deck. Well, I'm not doing that. And I play the OLED, and I think, that's a beautiful screen. But, as I said, 10 minutes after playing it, you're like, I'm used to that now, and all it does is make the old one look shit. So actually going back...
Well, that's what we're going to play with.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? I don't know, man. I don't know. But these are all rumours, right? These are all sources, and... I mean, it's not a wild thing to say.
No. That like an LCD screen, like a new LCD screen, it's going to look better than the original Switch's one, probably.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
Yeah, but still, it's fundamentally, it's not the same technology as an OLED.
And I think, honestly, the OLED stuff, I mean, it's nice and all, but I think it is a nice to have. So if it's really cutting down the price of the console, I think that's quite an important thing. I was going to save this for my prediction for next year, but I'll say it here. I reckon you're still going to be able to use your Joy-Cons on the next one. What about that? Ooh. I think they're going to look at ways of trying to keep things as cheap as possible.
Yeah.
And one of the ways they can do that is not to redesign I mean, they can redesign the Joy-Cons.
Yes,
but the technology of snapping them together.
But the rail will be the same.
That'll all be the same because they'll.
I think that makes sense.
So do you think? And will they then sell one without any controllers? It'll just be the base.
No. They'll always sell it with controllers. Okay. But I think that you could connect your current Joy-Cons to the new ones. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense.
Because on the one hand, part of me thinks, no, I'd prefer something like a bit more secure because they can sort of wobble.
Yeah, they can wobble. Yeah.
But then also, it's like, look at the fucking rail. What else do you want them to do? I don't.
Yeah.
Without it then being a pain in the ass to get. I mean, they're already quite annoying to get off.
But I think what they'll do is maybe they won't want to admit it, but they'll design some much better Joy-Cons. Maybe there'll be like information about technology inside them, so it's going to make everyone essentially want to upgrade anyway. But if you don't want to,
do much different with them. What would they
need
to do
to fix the drift? That has been like.
I was going to say, I don't think they will, but it'd be very cool if they put Hall effect joysticks in. But I mean, that's going to bring the cost up. I don't think they'll do it.
What's that?
They're basically. The now becoming more common, the joysticks you get in, analog sticks You're getting like high-end controllers, and they
To stop drift.
I forget how they work. I think they work on like magnets or something. I shouldn't have even said that because I can't comment any further.
Oh, no.
Let's
say magnets.
But yeah, broadly speaking, that like they do not drift over time.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I just don't think we'll see a major redesign of the controllers, to be honest with you.
Everyone in the chat saying yes, it's magnets. I'm correct. I know loads about Hall effect sticks.
Have you noticed that Sean always mentions the chat when they're on his side? Just ignores them when they're not.
I just can't just turn the stream off if they don't agree with me. It's
I don't think there's anything wild in this. Look, sources are saying this. We all thought that probably it'll be launching at the end of next year. We think possibly the end of this year, maybe the start of next year, Nintendo will start talking about it, and then that's where we're going. And I honestly think Metroid Prime will be a launch title for that console. That's where they'll be going, I think.
That's a good point. Just quickly, there's an interesting comment from Chris String from GamesIndustry.biz. He's saying like one of the ways Nintendo is interesting and it's different from Sony and Microsoft is Sony and Microsoft fight with each other, whereas Nintendo just needs to win over the same audience over and over again. It says like, what's the the more family-oriented casual fans will need more convincing. What will the next Mario Kart offer that they're not currently getting from the current one, for example? It's a good question.
It'll be our. Do you know where my mind went? It'll be our first full gen. TCGS's first full gen.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
We were there at the start of it, and we were there at the end of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mad, isn't it?
Christ.
Oh, we can do a weekend at someone's house where we all played a new console and do a video.
Mate, those days are behind us, I think.
And that is a shame, though.
We did that for the fucking VR headset. We just went down to Matt's. Our lives were different then, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, I need to go to Matt's. Why? There's a new console out. Were you not going, David?
Taking the piss.
Right.
Yeah. What are you saying?
I get that.
There's one mentioning. I mean, there's no room. It's just basically like, they were. Well, it says here about the OLED screen not happening to bring down costs. Especially considering the increased storage required for higher fidelity games. I mean, yes, it would be nicer to have a much higher base storage, but because the OLED has got 64. No, the OLED's got more. The OLED's got 32. Sorry, but the original Switch has got 16.
What's nuts about that is that the storage on the Switch is fucking dog shit, but it's so cheap and easy to update and upgrade that it's never been an issue. I wouldn't be terribly upset if they did the same thing. I don't think they need SSDs in this new one.
No.
I wouldn't be terribly upset if it
I've still never bought an SD card for mine. I mean, I often
really?
I mean, I've got the OLED now, short double, but even before, I'll just delete it, reinstall it. The installing is so quick on this console. It's not like Xbox or PlayStation. You've got like potentially 100, 120
That's
gig,
true.
whatever. It's like downloading a new game is nothing, and so you have to have like 4 or 5 games on the console. I guess I could buy an SD card to make it easier, but I've never felt the need. Now it's doubled on the OLED. I'm
not convinced like Nintendo servers are going to be up to like 60 gig plus downloads. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that could be the issue. But no, I mean, I think I've got like a 250 gigabyte SD card on mine, and I'm never near filling it up.
I was going to say, you'd never have to uninstall anything, would you?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What was do you remember? Because it wasn't long after the Switch came out, there was it one of the NBA games that was like, it does not fit on.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And at that point, it was like, well, shit, this is going to be a problem. And actually, that was kind of it.
Yeah.
But then that's because people.
That was no one bought that NBA game.
No one bought that NBA game, and they just didn't make any more of them for the Switch. And FIFA was the same game for 6 years running or whatever.
Yeah.
But just like this,
LA Noire, that was the one. LA Noire wouldn't fit on it. Yeah.
Like this feels similar-ish to when we're waiting for like the next 360. We're like, okay, well, basically, I love 360. It's another one. I'm like, this could have Switch 2 basically all wants the same. Maybe a better screen, not going to happen. Maybe more storage, maybe better battery life. I don't need anything else. Like if you have more power, sure, but Nintendo do what they do on whatever power console they have. I'm not expecting it to be a 4K monster, so just more of the same. Really, it's kind of
more of the same, please.
Maybe it's smaller bezels, but. It's not like a PlayStation or Xbox. I'm like, I love this. Could it do that? I'm just like,
you're right. More. I do want it to be way more powerful, though. I want it to be way more powerful.
Well, this is it. Yeah, like
I just want the games to look way better.
Yeah, I just want a Switch that keeps up with the other consoles. Really.
Well, I didn't even think it needs to keep up. But I just think, you know, Tears of the Kingdom, the visuals were never terrible, right?
No.
Mainly down to the art style. The resolution was shit, and it dropped frames a lot. And I don't want any of that. I want
this is it. Yeah, it's not like I'm not saying like it needs to be like a fucking Series S I can play on the toilet.
Right.
But it's just that thing of like I want to be confident that I can buy the Switch 2 versions of games and not worry about it being really compromised.
There is that, yeah.
Right,
I think we said ages ago about, okay, a few years ago, she was like, it's on Switch, I'll buy it on Switch. Now I'm like, Switch version comparison, because I'm like, okay, before, how bad's the performance going to be on Switch versus everyone's? But you're right, I want to go back to like 3 or 4 years ago, where it's just an instant buy on Switch because you knew it'd be fine.
I don't think we're going to get that. Like, I don't. I think in terms of those third-party games, they're just going to be continuing with the major hardware, right? With the high-end stuff, because they know that that's quite a good seller. If you show someone something that looks amazing, they're going to want to buy it, right? So I think in terms of third-party, like all right, it's not the case with indie games, and I think it would be good for Nintendo to reclaim some of that space again, the indie space, which I think they will do. They will do. But for me, it's like Harry was playing Forza Horizon the other day, and I'd forgotten how like insanely gorgeous that game is, and I just think having not all the way as powerful as an X, obviously, but having way more grunt given to a team that can create a game that looks as good as Breath of the Wild on that system, what are they going to do with way more power? Like, how much better is it going to look? You know, seeing a Mario, like a Bowser's Fury, brilliant game, dropped a lot of frames, and was it 30? It was 30 frames per second, I think. Bowser's Fury, wasn't it? Yeah. And that is like mad for a Mario game, and it felt it at times, you know. But having the draw distances and being able to deal with a completely open world Mario game like that is, you know, God.
That's the interesting thing actually about that game
to me.
Yeah, because I love the game. I mean, there are bits like when you had like the boss battles where turning the camera like was killing me. But that game felt like an experiment. Maybe they're trying internally. Let's put it onto was it 3D World that was on?
Yeah.
But maybe they're making that. Maybe that's like, hang on, this is almost like this is a prototype, and if we can do it on this, maybe we want to push the new console more to do more of this kind of thing. So hopefully that people love that and they got excited about it internally, and that will be the kind of thing that pushes them to say, let's put more grunt in the next console. So what's the last Nintendo?
I'd still be disappointed. I'll be honest. I'll still be disappointed if they went ahead and that's the next Mario 3D game. Like, I still think there's like a hell of a lot of potential for a Super Mario Odyssey 2. Like, I really do. I think the concept.
They've always got that in their back pocket.
But it's not going to feel as good if they release the open world Mario and then go back for a number 2 for Odyssey, right? Like. On this console, there's still room for a very similar game to Odyssey, but with new levels and new moons to collect. Keep the format, keep the style, keep the visuals, all that sort of stuff. But creating a Odyssey 2, I'd be disappointed if we didn't get that and we just moved on to the next big Mario game. That would suck a little bit. But...
Do you think a Nintendo Mario game? They have released some out away from like the big Christmas rush, right? It's not like it's either this Christmas or nothing.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so there is still time, as it were, to.
No, there won't be this year because we've already got.
I don't mean this year. I mean basically next year before next Christmas.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't think we will though. I don't think we'll see a Mario Odyssey 2 on the Switch now. I think that might be gone. If anything,
do you not think that'd be a nice little kind of hurrah on?
Nintendo don't generally do that though, do they? Like I know, like obviously the Wii U.
They tend to move on, don't they?
Yeah, like the Wii U had Breath of the Wild, but only because we fucking made it now. We might as well.
Well, I think because they couldn't get away with dropping it for the Wii U after spending years talking about how it was coming out for the Wii U. It's tough. I can't wait to see what they've got next. Let's face it, the Switch has been a brilliant console, not in terms of commercial and in terms of how much I have loved playing on that thing.
Oh yeah, it is a game changer.
I think it quicker than its time. But I don't care. I love that console. I can't wait to see what they've got next for us.
When was the last time there's a Nintendo console that was on par with the rivals? I mean, even the Wii was kind of before 360. So
they're always out of step, aren't they? So they do it on purpose.
GameCube possibly was the last.
So by that
one
reckoning,
in the chat.
We'll get one that's what I mean. The Switch isn't quite PS4 and Xbox One though, is it? So, well, no, it's more than that, right? I mean, so it's kind of in between.
It's not as powerful as PS4.
I guess the art style carries stuff through.
Oh yeah, it is apples and oranges. We're talking about two different things, but no, I mean, It's not going to be up there with a. It's not going to be up there with a Series X. That's insane. Series X is a big old console that's sitting on your fucking table. You pick that fucking thing up. Do you know what I mean?
Put a screen on that.
That's not going to be mashed down into a portable console. No chance. And if it is, you're looking at thousands of pounds worth of technology in order to make it do that. So no, thinking it's going to be as powerful as current gen consoles is just not. It's not going to be that. But we can expect it and hope for it to be way more powerful than the Switch currently is, I think. For sure.
Let's hope so.
All right, next news story.
We move on. Bit of a sad one. British game development veteran John Gibson has passed away. So he's one of those figures. So he's been a developer since 1983. He started doing ZX Spectrum stuff, and he was what interested me about this is, do you remember we watched that documentary about Imagine Software, the commercial breaks, the BBC?
That's right. Yeah.
So he's granddad. Right, so that was in in 84. They went under. So among the development team, everyone referred to him as granddad at the time.
Right.
Which I don't know if it's because he was older or just because he had a beard and stuff and just kind of
right.
So already he was like the veteran programmer that everyone went to with their problems and stuff. And basically, his career continued all the way up to. So he worked on all the MotorStorm games and Drive Club. And I just
imagine having a career that long and having that many games under your belt.
This is it. This is what fascinates me. Being like, I'm a software developer. Yes, I worked on stuff on the Spectrum and then the PS4. It's like if you
incredible.
Dave, if you were like, oh yeah, so when I joined, I started doing architecture. It was all mud huts and sticks. And now we build skyscrapers.
Yeah, and it's just
you know what I mean? I just thought that was a fascinating career. And he won't be the only one, but it's just amazing just how things have changed and how he obviously changed with it.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that's the most impressive thing. So they've actually kept up. Learn new skills, learn new technologies, and he's still imparting the same knowledge and skills he was doing 40 years ago.
Because Drive Club is
Storm not coming back. How the fuck has MotorStorm not come back?
Yeah, you'd think that would be.
Imagine that now.
Well, they closed the studio, right?
They did. Yeah.
But obviously they still own the IP, right? They give it to someone else if they wanted to.
They must do.
Codemasters bombed, didn't they? Or
yeah, Codemasters bought the studio,
right.
but most of them just left, didn't they? Yeah. Man, oh god, I'd love a new MotorStorm game, and instead we got that fucking arena driver thing that they brought out. Was it the Destruction Derby Star? Oh god, that was
Destruction All Stars.
Destruction All Stars. What the fuck was that thing?
I mean, have you ever been? I know, obviously, we all know the story about when Drive Club came out and was a bit of a mess and stuff. But have you been on YouTube and seen 4K footage of Drive Club?
No, they
fucking holds up. There's technical stuff written around that game that is still really impressive.
Yeah, they fucked the launch of that game completely, didn't they? But I remember playing it about a year and a half after it came out and just thinking, this is incredible. It's a really good game.
So R.I.P. Big man. What's next? So according to giantfreakingrobot.com, my favorite website. I don't know about you guys. Netflix is working on a Dark Souls anime.
So we covered this story kind of ages ago, didn't we? About there being a Dark Souls.
Has this been it? Right, okay.
Well, no, it wasn't. And then we were like, what could it be? And we just instantly assumed live action. And we were talking about how could it be translated, but The fact it's an anime isn't a massive surprise.
I mean, it absolutely can be translated. There's so many amazing stories in that video game, like properly incredible stories hidden away in that video game. And I'd be very interested in watching it.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I don't think it should make any attempt to. Because obviously the way Dark Souls tells its story is very specific to video games. So like, don't try and do that, right? No. Don't make an anime where like barely anything happens, but if you're looking in one corner of the screen, there's an item, and you think, hang a minute, that's a reference. You know what I mean? Fuck that. Yeah. Like, make just a normal telly program.
Yeah, it should not start with the undead guy in the prison. It shouldn't start like that. It should be starting with the clash with the gods and the age of light dying out.
Or even if it was just like little sort of vignettes like on different characters and stuff, like all the side characters and their like the series of events as they perceived it, stuff like that. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I think there is definitely room to create something around that video game. And I think it would be hard to fuck up. Honestly, there's enough lore out there that's so incredible that you wouldn't need to change much. So hopefully that's taken into account, and they just tell those stories really well, because I've heard hundreds of stories about hundreds of characters from that fucking game, and each one is interesting. You take those stories and you tell them well in an anime or a cartoon or a live action thing, I'll watch,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Obviously,
I spent ages listening to an Australian lad tell me the stories on a YouTube channel, so it's I'll do anything at this point.
It's funny, like, we're using the term anime. I mean, that's what they use in the story as well. But like the Castlevania series is referred to as an anime, which I'm pretty sure it's a Western studio. But it's just funny how anime has just sort of become shorthand for like high quality cartoon that has violence and stuff in it.
Well, how's that style?
Right, okay. I thought it was like they have big eyes and
there's a visual style associated with it as well. Yeah,
and they shout lines that they shouldn't. Like
that's Attack on Titan. You're thinking.
Hey, Gary, why don't you come out here? Because I want to go to sleep.
But like, I mean, I know I've said it plenty of times before. I know James is a fan as well. The Castlevania series on Netflix is fucking excellent. And they've just announced a new series of that as well, which I am pumped for. Activision are suing a TikTok user. And I honestly might just have to read this word for word because it.
Well, I mean, the fact that you've described them as a TikTok user is insane. But go on.
So
basically,
the
headline is
TikTok. The headline word for word from Eurogamer is Activision suing TikTok user over Crash Bandicoot and pizza content.
Right. Just to say up front, right, this is all Sean's doing is reading the headline from Eurogamer, right. I'm not being funny. I'm not into content creators. I'm not like a big. I don't know much about that world. But this is Anthony Fantano, right? And I guarantee anyone that's into any sort of music on any level has seen one of his videos.
Oh, okay. So
he's a YouTuber.
Right. So no, I hadn't. I was not aware of him.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Maybe
it's the needle drop on YouTuber Anthony Fantano.
Okay.
Not a fan. Not a fan of the guy. Don't like him. I've got my own reasons, and maybe I'll tell you one day. But I am not a fan of the guy. But yeah, to describe him as a TikToker, I think what he does is take his YouTube videos and just puts them on bits on clips on TikTok. But yeah, go on.
Okay. So apparently there was a TikTok clip from 2021 where he's reacting to a video of someone else cutting up a pizza into smaller and smaller pieces. And he's shouting, "It's enough slices." The exasperated Fantano shouts. It says here, and then this became popular, and then people then started nicking the audio from that and using it in other videos, including Activision, who used that audio clip to then promote some Crash Bandicoot trainers in a TikTok video. And basically, obviously, Activision, however you feel about them, not stupid. Did their due diligence. The clip was available for commercial use, so there was not a rights issue as far as they saw it. And then basically, so Fantano got in touch with them and told them to remove it because they're using his audio. And then he started demanding a settlement as a result of all this. And then basically, yes, Activision responded, denied it had done anything wrong, noting that the audio had been used before by other content creators, including and that Fantano had celebrated these inclusions. So they basically pulled it, but just said, without admitting any liability, like we just, can't be arsed, just delete it. But he's continuing. So he got back in touch with the Crash Bandicoot publisher to say he was prepared to file a lawsuit in New York, which apparently is even though neither the defendant nor Activision are New York residents, and he's demanding a 6-figure sum. So instead, Activision is suing him first to stop him from suing them. Fucking what is this world?
Right. so John and I have argued about this. John is definitely on that Activision side.
Right.
It's important to note that Fantano does a lot of reaction videos, and John's view is that you're taking other people's content and using their content to make money out of reacting.
Right, you shouldn't be surprised when you're paying it forward. Yeah.
There's part of me, as I say, not a fan of Fantano. I've got a lot of reasons why. I'm not going to go into them on the show. But there's part of me that goes, you still have the right to say if your voice is used on a major company's advertising campaign or not. But you should definitely have a right to say, no, fuck that. You're not taking clips of me and using it to sell fucking trainers or whatever they were saying. I kind of understand that. I mean, it gets messy with the whole suing. Fantano's done this to various other companies as well. It's not just this one. This is being publicised, obviously, because it's Activision and Activision are counter-suing, so that becomes a different thing. But, I don't know where to sit with it.
Yeah, Activision noting the audio had been used by other content creators and that Fantano had celebrated these inclusions. It is different when Activision do it. That is, it's valid to be I'll let other people use it for a laugh. But when you're literally putting it in an advert and you've definitely got shitloads of money, that is different.
Yeah, 100%. Totally. It's a tough one. It'd be. I mean, this is one of those things where it's an initial story and we'll never find out what the end of it is. But yeah, I think
we will. I think Fantano will want to make this as public as he can. Obviously, after taking legal advice. So, I think we'll hear a lot about this.
I think it's going to be interesting.
I think the story will die out. I think it'll fizzle out. It'll be some sort of settlement. That'll be it. We won't even hear about it again.
Obviously, Activision are stupid, but Fantano's, probably not an idiot either. I'm sure he probably looked and talked to his lawyers. Say, is there a case here? Can we do anything?
Has he received advice that
obviously
basically his lawyers have scented blood and might as well go for it.
So maybe it's interesting, but this kind of makes me just think about about the H Bomber guy video, the oof and the original source of that clip, and
right.
We're gonna get a lot of this, aren't we? I think.
Yep. Okay.
But I'm not a avid TikTok user. How is it in general for that attribution of?
It's constant. I mean, I don't really see much. Obviously, I see adverts and stuff, but you don't follow many accounts. It is funny because I see, for example, you look at someone like football clubs when they sign new players, they put these wacky videos out. They don't even shit what content they're nicking to put in that, and you do kind of think, hold on.
But that functionality is built into it, though, isn't it? Right, that's part of the whether it's meme culture, remix culture, whatever you want to call it.
It's
built to do that. Which in a way is good because it usually means you'll watch something and it'll say, oh yeah, and this is where the audio's from. But then how many people use that properly? And stuff is getting lost, right, as a result, and not everything's going to be properly attributed, I assume, over time.
We've put clips out. I've put clips out of the show on TikTok, right? If that was just taken and used, it wouldn't be because it's fucking nonsense that we're talking. But if Microsoft just used that in an advert, we'd be a bit like, hold on a minute, what the fuck? Shouldn't you have approached us about that? Shouldn't that be a thing? So I don't know. It'd be, we don't know the full details of the lawsuit or the law itself. So it's hard to really comment on. But I look at that, and as much as I'm not a fan of Fantano, I kind of think actually you might have a point with people using your voice on an advert.
Yep.
Weird. All right.
Next story. It's another Activision.
I'll tell you later,
one.
Chris. Go on.
Another Activision story. So there's an interview. Someone from Hasbro did an interview with Transformers World. You all read that, I assume, every day.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yep.
That's my favourite one.
Commented on the availability of the original, source code and original materials, etc., for the Transformers games that Activision published. And quote, sadly, apparently Activision's not sure what hard drives they're on in their building. When a company eats a company that eats a company, things get lost, and that's very frustrating. The hope is now that the deal is moving forward with Microsoft and Xbox, that they'll go through all of the archives and every hard drive to find it all, because it's an easy Game Pass ad. We want those games back up for people to have a chance to play. I just thought this was interesting that Activision's just fucking, they might be here, they might not be. No one really knows. It's no one's job to go through the archives and check.
I mean that's gonna be a massive, massive job.
It is.
I mean, just think about when you move house. You're like, oh, where did we? I swear we packed that, and that's one house. Imagine buying another company, moving massive studios. It's no wonder, they're losing things. There's probably, a huge warehouse full of old things that they've got over the years, and hopefully it gets found. But funny.
Because this was when I was first reading this, I was like, "Fuck, does this include the PS2 one?" Did you guys play that?
Did not. It may surprise you to learn I did not play a Transformers game.
It's very good.
I did not do that.
Genuinely very good. But this is, so this includes Transformers War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, Rise of the Dark Spark, and Devastation, which was the Platinum one, which apparently was all right. It's just another weird, possibly thank God for piracy situation. Like if the originals are just fucking gone. Just a
this is
preservation
cut
issue.
to Phil Spencer wearing a Transformers Devastation t-shirt, and it was like, oh my god, he found the hard drive. Transformers totally passed me by. I guess I don't know, for whatever reason
as well.
I never watched anything. I just didn't have any of the toys. Wasn't a thing for me. I don't know.
I always when I say I was born in 85, he must have been well into Transformers then. I was like, no, just didn't. Don't know.
For me, it's always when people go, "Do you remember Thundercats? Do you remember Thundercats?" And I'm like, no,
I mean that
really.
I was into.
BC, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you would well, no, you're.
But then it's weird because how did we? This is it. When there was only fucking 3 programs to watch. How did we have such different experiences?
It's
not like, obviously
weird,
our kids growing up could have watched completely different stuff because there's fucking loads of it.
Yeah.
Whereas back then,
I miss Transformers. Love Thundercats. Love Turtles and those are different eras. But Transformers never was a thing for me.
Yeah.
Who's worrying about preserving these games?
Sean.
Hasbro. Because we want to make some money.
Are you Sean?
What do you mean
about this? About these
well,
games?
no, it's not about my personal interest in the game. I just think every game should be saved forever.
I don't.
Okay.
Still,
every game, Sean. Every game.
Still, Diver shouldn't. BMX XXX.
Especially that.
Well, there you go. You're a sexist.
Radical Heights.
Well done. Well done, Sean. You're a bigot.
One thing or the other. You can't pick and choose.
Yeah, that's.
Would you like the last news story?
Please.
So Baldur's Gate 3, which is out officially in a couple of days, I think. I mentioned in an interview that they
7th,
used intimacy coordinators when doing the romance scenes.
Oh yeah.
Which it's just an interesting
thing. How do I get that
job? I don't think it's as fun as you're imagining, Dave. I'll be honest.
I killed the dream, Sean.
I don't think you get to just dream. Tell them where to put it and stuff. I don't think that's how it works.
The thing is, I know where it goes, so I'd be good at that job.
It's just an interesting one because obviously it sounds unusual, but actually, of course, it fucking makes sense when so much of it is motion captured.
Yeah.
Like obviously this has been a thing in film and TV for a while now. They do mention that Immortality used one, but that makes sense because that was a load of films effectively. But yeah, have you all seen the bear scene that was doing the rounds?
For what? For Baldur's Gate?
For Baldur's Gate 3, yeah.
No.
So there are some characters in Dungeons and Dragons that can shapeshift into animals, and
Now we're talking.
Yeah, basically, they revealed that one of the characters you're gonna have sex with can do this, and you can basically dare them to transform into a bear first.
Oh, that's wrong, isn't it? Bestiality, that is, isn't it?
Well, is it bestiality, Dave? That's
yeah,
the thing.
It is.
That's the thing. No, because it's still a person in a way.
It's a fucking bear.
Just to be absolutely
the
clear.
Spirit of a human.
I mean, it's played for laughs, right? That's the way. I don't think it's supposed to be.
You think that's funny, do you?
It cuts to like a squirrel in a tree, and its eyes fucking go wide, and it looks really shocked.
There's a squirrel
starts jerking it.
Yeah, weird porn. Yeah, the squirrel's just nutted everyone.
Imagine you were like, "No, I'm into bears. Don't bring the squirrel into it. That's ruined it now." That's probably a thing.
What the fuck? What are we doing?
This is I don't know what. This is all real stuff that's in one of the biggest releases this year, Dave.
James is going to be so disappointed with us.
That bear's going massive release. This game's actually out on the 3rd of August. A lot of people are excited about this, and I've never played Baldur's Gate before. I mean, should we be excited about it?
We probably should, because I mean, we got a question about this later on.
We'll come to it maybe.
Okay, we'll do it then. Right, it's the end of the news. Okay. You're really looking forward to a month of me doing this.
There's no Bell's bullshit corner.
No Bell's bullshit arena.
Oh, that.
We need
solid facts.
We need one before the return of the James.
I'll keep an eye
get working on that. What you've been playing then? I want to start. Oh, Matt says fuck all. Brilliant. So let's start with. I was going to start with you first, Matt. Can you believe it?
No, well, we did loads of things last week. And I had 2 nights off, and I didn't play games on that time.
Oh well, there you go.
I played a little bit of Zelda, but let's not go into it.
Have you? You said you were right at the end.
I am. I'm going down
right at the end.
I'm going down the thing. That's it.
He's right at the end. He's going down the thing.
Yeah.
It's going down.
Confirmed.
Okay, right. I know we said we wouldn't talk about Zelda, but just 30 seconds on this, right? Right. I'm right at the end, but I just almost can't be bothered to finish it, and not in I've got so much more to do. I don't know.
That was me. That was me. The week. Do you remember the week before I finished it? I said I'm not going to finish it.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing. Just go and do it.
I will. I don't know. I will.
It's a really good bit.
Yeah. I know everyone says it's really good. No, I'm very close to the end, but I'm just I don't know. Just haven't.
How many parts have you got now?
Oh, 24, 25.
There we go. Fucking hell. That's
all lost count now, really.
That's a lie. That's a fucking lie.
Well, no. I'm on the second line. There's 4 or 5 of them.
All right. Okay. Sean, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing The Banished Vault.
Oh, fuck, right. I saw this written down. I was like, is this a thing? And I Googled it. I'm like, this is that game. That looks amazing.
I think this game...
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Go on.
I think this game might have made me physically ill.
Oh.
Yeah?
Glowing recommendation.
Do you know, I've mentioned before, I said, when I have fever dreams, they're always, impossible, logistical tasks, right? I'm in charge of something, and sometimes it's like a space station, and I have to figure out the logistics of moving all the ships on, and it's just impossible, and it's really complicated.
Yeah.
That is this game. Right. And I think in some weird sort of reverse placebo effect, made me have fever dreams about it the night after I played it.
Right, okay.
So, this is a game where the story is, it's set thousands of years in the future, and for whatever reason, the ruling sort of power in society is this church, right? And it's all these mad devout monks, and they just fuck off into space and go and explore and discover stuff, and they do it in these ships that are basically these huge floating monastery cities, right, with thousands of people on them, and they just right, well, we've got nothing else to do, we'll just fly up into space, see what we find, right? and one of those ships finds something called the Gloom, which is this sort of incomprehensible, unknowable evil somewhere out in the galaxy that they immediately kills all but 4 people on this giant city spaceship thing. And then those 4 people are tasked with just trying to escape from the Gloom, right? Which is just fucking coming after them across the entire universe. And so it's a management sim where every level is a solar system, and your city is on the edge of it, and it's like, right, here's all the planets like dotted around. The interface is beautiful. Like, it's initially...
You're surprising me, actually, because when I saw like screenshots and videos of this being played, I thought this was like a strategy game where you're like battling against...
But you're not it's like it's turn-based, but you're not against anyone. It is a strategy game, but it's all you're racing against is time and like dwindling resources and faith, right? Because like this is what the sort of implied thing is, like your guys are like, yeah, these like, you know, devout space monks. They found this great evil out in the galaxy, and God has done nothing about it, right? So every level you're making it to another solar system or whatever. Everyone's faith drops a little bit, and everyone's constantly like, this might all be bullshit actually. But basically, what you are trying to do each solar system is, there's all these planets. You got to fly. You have like a couple of like little ships that can fly down to these other planets. And you are trying to gather resources to create stasis, which is this substance that allows them to go into like hypersleep, right? So they can travel for like another 30 years to the next solar system and not die in the process. But in order to do that, it's a bit No Man's Sky, but not in an annoying way. In that it's like, right, in order to make stasis, you need water, fucking like umpteen other resources to like that all create stasis. So you've got to look at each solar system and be like, right, these are the resources on all the planets, but also fuel is very limited. So it costs you a certain amount of fuel to get to a planet, to land on a planet. You've then got to build facilities on each planet that will then harvest resources and create new things. And it's just this unbelievably complex set of just logistical problems, hence reminding me of my horrible fever dreams, right? And it's the ambience of it, like the way it's presented, and like the music is absolutely stunning. But in this very oppressive but beautiful way. It's so miserable. It's just a game about 4 people just having the shittest time ever.
Someone like this pod.
Yeah. Just things like, so like I'm reading reviews, everyone's like, oh, you've got to make notes, right? Get like an A4 notepad. You'd be writing shit down constantly. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I
want to talk to you about the physical side of this game, but
because that stuff is super interesting. But yeah, like you miscalculate how much fuel you need to get to a planet, and then you're like, right, well, that guy in that little shuttle is going to die unless I then get more fuel, like get another ship to get more fuel from the mothership, and then come back, get him, transfer the fuel over, and because you only have 4 guys, and once they like one of them dies, that's it, they're gone, and they're all super useful because each one of them allows you. It's like each guy you have is like a set of actions every turn, right? So like for every one guy you have, you're like, right, well, you harvest a shitload of water, you do this, you do this, you do this. So as soon as you start losing people, that's really bad.
What happens when that happens? When you like lose 1 or 2, is it game over? Like
it's not game over. It lets you carry on. I think if you're reduced to 1, then the game ends.
Does like permadeath tell you start again?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I don't think you have any control over save states or anything. I think it is just like Dark Souls style. Wow. Yeah, it's so stressful and sad and weird, and I don't think I'm going to play it again.
But
I mean, that's understandable.
But it's really good. Like, it's one of those. I can't say to you, you should go out and fucking buy it. If this sounds like the sort of thing you would like, then it's essential. But I totally get anyone just being like, nah, fucking no chance.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Now that our game time is becoming less and less, it's getting tough as well now because like Harry's staying up later, which means I've got less and less game time. It's like going down and down. I don't know how I feel about playing games that get me all bummed out. There used to be a time where I was like, yeah, I'm all about that, love all that. But now I'm like, actually, I could just do another night on Pro Clubs.
This is
which,
it. Yeah,
probably makes me more upset than this game ever would. But...
Like, because I was on what, like as I was playing it, I was on WhatsApp and I was like, I'm gonna have to play some Pikmin before bed because I cannot go to. But yeah, and then I played it too late, and then went to bed. Like literally, I was having dreams about it from playing one evening of it. I was having dreams about it, couldn't sleep, and then woke up feeling like shit the next day, and then got a migraine and had to like leave work early.
Oh wow!
And it's like, imagine explaining to my colleagues, the thing is, I played this game last night about these miserable space monks, and I think it's like poisoned my brain.
It's PC and Mac.
PC and Mac. Yeah.
But Sean,
the physics stuff is super interesting because it's all based on like actual rocket physics, but very simplified, obviously, because that would be way too much for most people. Apparently, they tried like a full on. Like you could, like if you were an actual rocket scientist, you could calculate this shit, and they were just like, it wasn't fun, obviously. So they simplified.
If you're an actual rocket scientist, I doubt you've got Steam installed. To be honest.
You've probably got better things to do, like launch rockets. But there's little things like, so like the interface. If you click on a ship, right, and you, like you know where you want to go, so you click on the target location and it'll be like, right, you need to generate like with the engines you've got equipped, you need to generate 12 energy, right, in order to get there. And then you can sort of increase or decrease the amount of fuel you're going to use, so you've got to increase it till the energy meets the requirement, right? So you've got to put enough fuel in to get to the location. So you can do it that way, but also it includes this like little like slide rule tool where you've just got, so it's got like, the mass of the ship, the amount of fuel you're putting in, the thrust of the engines, and it's completely unnecessary because there's other ways of doing it through the interface. But sometimes you just like, I'm gonna get the fucking slide rule out. I'm gonna calculate this myself. I'm gonna and work it out. And the fact they include stuff like that because they know it's a bit tactile and just feels cool to do.
Oh god, yeah, that does feel That reminds me of work because I know it sounds stupid, but when I'm at work, a lot of my work is on paper and pen and a calculator in front of me, and then it's drafting on the software. So the feeling of playing something that has that physical element alongside the working something out and then putting it into that's really appealing to me.
It's strange how good it is.
Well, Sean, I was going to ask, have you not bought the physical manual?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, Matthew.
Oh, yes! Yes, you have. Nice.
Anyone who's watching the stream, sorry, it's very irritating for people actually listening to the podcast. Yeah, so for a $5, you can get the physical manual from Amazon, which I thought I might as well because it's like, I thought even if I don't get on with the game, it's like a cool object.
It's an art book and stuff,
it's like a little art book. There's like loads of beautiful illustrations in it. Bits of flavor text, stuff like that. Obviously, that appears in the game, right? You can view it as if it was like a PDF.
Yeah, but that's not as good, is it?
But there's something quite nice. I know, I don't know how much of like a logistical faff it was for the devs, but I'd love to see more games do something like that, where it's like, it's an indie game, it's 15 quid. Also, if you want a nice like paper manual, it's a $5 on Amazon.
Well, yeah, because I did skim through a piece today on Rock Paper Shotgun where they talk about how essential it was to have the physical book.
Yeah.
Because rather than having to keep referring to the in-game one and writing notes and I don't know, guess the recipes, whatever it is you need, or
different. Because it's got like tables and shit of like. I mean, again, sorry for everyone listening to the podcast. This is all like resource requirements and stuff for different building different shit.
This is reminding me of my job so much. I don't like. I'm not rocket science, honestly. Like obviously, but having grids and fucking all that shit in front of you, and at the moment everything's done on PDFs, and I hate it. Like I tend to just print out the pages that I need so I can still read while I'm. Oh god, shit.
Are you seriously not going to pay us more? Because
I probably will.
Sounds bloody great, actually.
It is, and it's just so brilliantly uncompromising in what it wants to do. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a very specific game for a specific type of person, and has zero shame about that. Do you know what I mean?
It's the key art or art design is absolutely stunning. Like
the art though, but the sort of the sketching, the black and white sketching.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
So that's the Banished Vault.
Yeah, that
it might be
good.
I was wondering if it'd be like a fun, an interesting stream.
I reckon that could absolutely work as a stream. Yeah, especially you got a physical book. You can have a second camera, Sean.
That's true. Yeah, second camera with no fucking notes.
Yeah, you can get your pen out, write the notes down.
Yeah,
that's great.
Get on it.
We'll see. Maybe I will.
Chop.
The other thing I've played is the first chapter of Sea of Thieves: The Legend of Monkey Island.
Oh yeah.
Fucking hell, this was a good time. I mean, you know,
I'm waiting for you to say I played Sea of Thieves this week. It was fucking wank.
One day. Well, I mean, what's cool about this is obviously a few years ago we had the Pirates Life stuff, which was the Jack Sparrow stuff, which, you know, Jack Sparrow's inclusion was fine. I ended up really enjoying.
Followed you about.
I ended up being really surprised about how cool it was that they took stuff from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride rather than the films, right? It was really interesting use of Sea of Thieves, right? It's a very different tone to the rest of the game. So yeah, and then now that had like some Monkey Island Easter eggs, and it was like, well, shit, because it's owned by Disney now. So it makes sense if they've negotiated for Pirates of the Caribbean. Of course, they've probably talked about Monkey Island as well. And yeah, so now fast forward 2 years, we now have this Legend of Monkey Island DLC, which still, like, you know, as a big fan of Monkey Island and Sea of Thieves, this still felt like it could have gone either way, right? It felt like this could have been not good because you know we talked, you know, a few months back, talked about the lack of involvement from, you know, the original creators and stuff. So who knows, right? And there was this talk of like, oh yeah, it's kind of like a point and click adventure, but within Sea of Thieves. And like, well, is that necessarily going to work? Turns out, yes. Like, we had a really nice time. It's barely Sea of Thieves, really. You know, similar to the Pirates Life stuff, you sort of trigger the adventure, and then you sail through a portal, and then you're in your own private game, and you literally you sail over to Melee Island. Which obviously anyone who knows Monkey Island will know, and like that's kind of it as far as like Sea of Thieves stuff is. That's all you do with the boat. The boat's not a factor beyond that. It's all on Melee Island, and it's you going around talking to people, solving puzzles, finding items, using them on things. And yeah, I mean, I won't go into the story. I mean, it's not hugely involved, but just in case anyone doesn't want it spoiling. But yeah, properly entertained. The way they've recreated Melee Island, anyone who's played the original knows, you know, the art style where it's like permanent nighttime. Everything's got that sort of, everything's blue apart from anything that is lit, which is like bright orange, right? That really sort of stark visual style. They've like recreated that so nicely. Like, it looks amazing.
Well, I've heard they've recreated like entire scenes, and like, oh shit, like that's the way like that the parrot was looking, or that's like that bar from that thing in that old game.
Yeah.
And I've heard, I think Daniel Dwyer on Twitter was comparing the original games to this, and like it's amazing the attention to detail they've put into this game.
Yeah, man. And there was one thing we spotted. So we were, as we were going around, okay, you know, there's seats you can sit on, right? Chairs and stools, whatever. You can sit on. That's just a thing in Sea of Thieves. And occasionally we would sit on one and be like, oh, like you'd sit on it and there would be like a bit of dialogue from Guybrush, like talking about his memories, like stuff from the other games, right? Like, oh, that's quite a nice thing. And then we twigged that like the way they sort of mark that is if you see a chair and there's like a little ink pot with a quill in it, that means there's going to be a bit of dialogue if you sit there. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Then we realized every one of those is when you sit in the chair, you're viewing the scene from the perspective that you saw it in like Monkey Island 1.
That's amazing.
And you're like, oh shit, of course, this was it. This is how it looked. But it's, such a nice idea. Even if you're not a massive Sea of Thieves player and you just like Monkey Island, like I would recommend this. Like it's not like, oh, this is it. This is how Monkey Island should work from now on. It's just a very cool thing that has obviously been made with a lot of love and respect for the source material. Yeah, and we had a really nice time.
And yes, you played multiplayer. You played obviously co-op.
Yes,
and
yeah, I played
worked,
before. It was it was fine. Yeah, there was like it suffers from that.
No, because I heard or read somewhere else that they're like, well, this you could basically play this on your own, and actually playing multiplayer would maybe even detract because
possibly, yeah. There was definitely a few moments where like someone found an item and realized where they were taking it, and then sort of handed it in without thinking. So like the other 3 people were in different locations and maybe missed a bit of dialogue or whatever. So then we sort of had to get into the habit of like, right, I'm going to do this now. Is everyone here? Yeah, okay. I'm going to hand this key to the monkey or whatever. And so there was a bit of that. You totally could play this on your own though, 100%. And like, and it would still be like a really good experience. So yeah, I mean that's chapter 1. I can't remember how frequently they're releasing these. I will try not to go on about every.
How long was that?
How many chapters are there?
I don't know how many chapters there are actually, but I mean this was like a solid evening, like 3 hours, I think maybe.
Okay. So
maybe if you're on your own, it might be quicker because you're not tooling around with your mates. But yeah, really lovely, and it's free, obviously. So why not?
Why not indeed?
I haven't got much to say this week. I finished Arcade Paradise.
Oh, nice.
Genuinely. Honestly, in fact, actually, sorry, I should have put this down on the thing, Matt. Sorry about that. But there was something that I wanted to do actually, because what I wanted to explain of Arcade Paradise is amazing. Like it is. I come away from that game thinking that this would have been my game of the year last year had I played it last year. I fucking loved it, right? And I was thinking, how can I possibly describe just how incredible the like and how deep the game went, right? Because what it does, each arcade game is a mashup of genres, right? So there's a Pac-Man that's also GTA, and there's there are various different arcade games that parody more than one arcade game, and bring them together in a way that makes it addictive and fun to play, right? But they also have a jukebox, and this sort of summarizes just how much effort they put into everything they do. The jukebox has over 30 tracks on it. You have to buy some of them, not with real money, with in-game currency. But when they parody different bands, right, and bands around the time. So this is one of them, right? This is the sort of self-titled Arcade Paradise song, right? And this just comes out of the jukebox, right? Right. I'll forward it. I mean, it's Rage Against the Machine. It's perfect.
Limp Bizkit, maybe? Well, a bit of both, isn't it?
This is definitely. I would say this is definitely Rage Against the Machine over.
Oh no,
Limp Bizkit.
The singer sounds way more like.
I think you could probably. This.
But I think
it's
supposed to be non-specific new metal band. Right?
This is definitely 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Right, we'll fast forward it a little bit.
Amazing.
Right, so they're all like clearly. Well, this is one of my favourites. Try and guess who this is. You won't get it from this bit. This bit's not very like them, but the moment they start singing, you'll be like, "Oh, I know exactly who this is." Yeah, instantly.
Amazing.
It's honestly. The reason why I wanted to play that stuff on this show is that, for starters, you might not hear it, and the amount of effort and work that's gone into sort of parody that, the bands of that era are just unbelievable. Like, there's some Cypress Hill stuff in there. There's loads of other different types of music. But, when you play a game and you go, oh, they've gone above and beyond the effort that's required to do what they're doing here. And because they've done that, it makes you fall in love with it even more. And I was right when I sort of briefly mentioned when I was talking about it a couple of weeks ago. Oh, you're not, as you increase as I said, the antagonist in the game makes the point that a good laundry place is really helpful for the community. Yeah. And the fight back on that is that the arcade place gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the little street that they've mapped out for you, where your arcade place is, they start building like nice buildings around your arcade as it gets bigger, like indicating that, oh no, you've created a hub of activity around here, and now that's having an impact on the local community. It's brilliant. And it's on Game Pass. If you haven't already played it based on the fact that I've been raving about it, then fuck me, play it. It's so good. And if you're worried, the laundry stuff's really boring, you only have to do that until you expand a little bit, and then you're done with it. You don't need to touch any of that ever again.
Which again is kind of insane, right? That they put that in essentially for narrative reasons. They could have just made a game where you just manage an arcade and not done... But they've put that effort
and the narrative
in
stuff is fantastic as well. It's really, really good. There's beats in it that you go, fuck, this is really great. Can't recommend it enough. Play.
How many hours did it take you to finish
brilliant.
it in the end?
Oh, I don't know, actually. Should I check?
Because the way you talk about it, I'm like, this better not be like a 50-hour.
I was going to say, it sounds like a commitment.
Power
which I'm all right
level.
with. I'm not saying I won't play it or anything.
It's not that long, I don't think. Here we go. Let's have a look. Achievements, that would be here. Arcade Paradise. Stats. I played it 23 hours. So a little bit longer than I thought I had. But 23 hours. Play it. Matt, just play it. You'd love it. In fact, actually... if one of you wanted to stream it, that would be a really good stream as well, actually. It would be a really good stream. Go on,
Matt.
Go on, Sean.
Go on, Matt.
Our PC can't handle streaming.
I kind of regretted that I didn't stream it, actually.
You still
because
can.
I love the early, but no, you can't. Once you know everything about it, it's pointless. But there is, there was that feeling early on that I loved, where I was playing a game to either try and so each game has goals on it, and if you achieve the goals, you earn more from that machine. So I'm playing a video game to try and achieve those goals, and then my watch goes off to tell me that the dryer's finished. And it's literally, you're sitting there, you bring up your watch, and you go, oh, for fuck's sake, I've got to stop now. I'm in the middle of a game, I've got to stop and go and sort the fucking washing up now. It's brilliant. It's great. So there's that. And then once that was completed, I was thinking, what the hell am I going to play next? So I was thinking maybe Pikmin, but John talked me out of that.
Really?
He was just like, yeah, you're not going to like it. And I was like, I know. So he was like,
I mean, I didn't put it on the list. I am still playing a lot of it. Just have nothing new to say about it, really. Still really enjoying it, though.
Yeah. And then I was thinking maybe that Mickey Illusion Island, but that was getting really sort of...
really mixed reviews, right?
Yeah, middling to low
I've
reviews.
Heard some. I mean, I listened or watched a clip from one of the people from Kind of Funny saying it's basically like the best ever kind of Metroidvania kind of introduction to a Metroidvania ever. Like the stuff it does in mechanics.
I mean, that does sound like a Kind of Funny over blowing point that they usually do, right? That's kind of it's the best ever introduction to a Metroidvania ever.
Oh no, as in like not as in like the opening hours. Like if you, as in like my first Metroidvania. Like it's a great one.
Is that what Dave wants? I know you're talking about maybe playing it with the kids, but
yeah, then I don't know. I mean, we did play Heave Ho this week. That was quite fun.
Oh
yeah. Anyway, sorry. So I remembered that I still had Jedi Survivor to finish, and what was really funny is that I've put about 2 to 3 hours into that this week, and I went through all the emotions that I went through when it launched, going, oh god, this looks really shit in places. Jesus, this doesn't run very well, does it?
Are they not patched it now?
We're still not at acceptable levels.
Wow.
I've heard the same about the PC version.
Do you think it's going up to 60 frames per second?
Well, I thought they might have done one as like RT performance, RT modes or something in between.
None of that. So you're sitting there and you're going, and what is it? Some of the platforming bits, I'm going, this is so clunky and doesn't really flow as well as it should do. And then you go, oh, but the combat's good actually. Oh, the combat's really good. Yeah, no, I remember now. The combat was like, oh, and the fucking characters are great. And now I'm back in. So yeah, it's a flawed, decent game basically, which is, I think ultimately when I come away from this, I think I'm near the end now. Like I've got maybe about 2 or 3 hours left. I think my takeaway from this was okay in the same way that the last game was okay, but this should have been better. After we finished the last game, we were like, that was
I think it is better in a lot of ways. That's what's so excruciating. But there's just
ways?
so much holding it back.
What ways would you say?
Sorry, I spoke over each other twice.
Sorry, what ways would you say that this is better than the last one?
The combat, mainly. And just like, I felt like the first one, maybe it's because I haven't gone back to any of the planets yet to like 100% them, but I remember feeling with the first one, it was very like, look at the map, look at the highlighted bits you've not been to yet. Oh, everything's red or green, depending on whether or not you've already been there. Like, that stuff is in the second one, but it's, I don't know, just it felt a bit more organic.
I do think it does that a lot more later on in the game. Yeah, so I'm going back to planets that I've already been to, and there's bits where I'm looking at the map and going, that's where I go next because it has that green bit, which I wasn't able to go to before. But yeah, you're right. It is a little bit more open than those than the last game. I think it has improved it, but I don't think it's improved it to the point where my biggest complaint about the last game was how poorly it ran and how shoddy some parts of that game were. And I'm saying the same thing about the sequel, and it's kind of like, fuck, man.
Yeah,
it's a shame, isn't it? Because I think we just
Star Wars game.
Yeah, because like we really hoped that Respawn would just hit the ground running with this one.
Yeah,
and just take what they learned from the first, and shame.
I'm blown away that performance isn't like way better now. It's been like 2 or 3 months.
It took over a year to get the last game running to a decent standard.
Yeah, true.
So I'm not really surprised.
I just would have thought studios will be in a better position now. They know kind of what to do more. Like, I think, hey, like performance RT mode, what the Spider-Man did, that kind of thing. Less detail, but higher frame rate or razor frame rate. But kind of blown away that has not been the case. But hey, whatever. I need to go back to it.
It's one of those games that, you know, we talk sometimes about, imagine, like, what would life be like if we didn't do the podcast? I'd love to be one of those people who just buys everything a year later. Like, you just get better versions of every game for a fraction of the cost.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a very good podcast if we all did that. Maybe we do a podcast where that's the hook. Right?
Yeah, the whole hook is it's a year late.
Yeah. Mind you, that's just Kane and Rinse, isn't it?
Oh!
Yeah, sure. Yes, they are dickheads. Yes.
They did a Death's Door episode and didn't have me on it.
That's true.
Yeah. Can you believe that? No, I'm joking.
I can.
Chris,
what was nice? They did an episode on Spiritfarer recently, which, as you may remember, I started and was like, holy shit, I fucking adore this. And then about 25, 30 hours in, just felt like I was getting nowhere. Yeah. And just got really frustrated with it and binned it off. And they were quite critical overall. It was weirdly refreshing. I mean, I hate what's it?
Yeah, I remember I went through the same thing, right? Yeah. We started it and we were like, holy shit, this is great. And then I think I was a little bit early and it was probably 10 hours into it. And I was just like, I'm done.
Yep.
Sorry, what were you saying? It was...
just that they were saying on the show, like, oh yeah, you could actually have removed a lot of this. And it probably would have been a better game for it. That was interesting.
That's what we've been playing this week. Should we get to questions, Sean?
Yes. If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Luke Watts, brackets with nail and pie, says, when me or my wife drop a particularly horrendous fart, we refer to it as a death egg, in reference to the zone from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. What other stages, levels, or biomes in video games could be used to describe a heinous passing of wind?
It's not a level, but I instantly thought Wind Waker.
That's good.
He's dropped a Wind Waker.
Or if we are sticking with levels, what about Gusty Garden from Galaxy?
Oh my god, Gusty Garden. That's, yeah.
Oh my god, welcome to my Gusty Garden.
Whirling in Rags?
That's when you do it in bed.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Matt?
No, I can't remember a single name of a level in a computer game. So
play games. He doesn't.
I don't remember the bloody names of levels like a nerd.
There's got to be a Dark Souls one, surely.
Probably.
Probably. Next question comes from Daniel Charter. It says, hi, chappies.
Daniel Charter, I'm going to call it. I've just done a Daniel Charter.
Yeah. I've done the Danny. I've done the Danny at pants.
Big Dan's. It says, hi, chappies. Wondering what has caused your...
Sorry, Daniel. It was just that you were right after that one. That really is just a coincidence. I apologise, Daniel.
I mean, his surname's Charter, so I don't think this is the worst
No,
he's
I can't
dealt
imagine
with.
That.
If
What
that
did
is
you have
his
at
real
school
name.
when people took the piss out of your name? What did they say?
Sean Belland.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Of course they
right
did.
there, Dave.
Of course.
Yeah, it couldn't be easier.
Why haven't I called you that?
I think we have.
Matt,
Did a half an hour before the recording.
what did you get?
No, it was just there was no piss take. It was just Muzzer, but I'm sure there probably was behind my back.
Mozza. No, there's got to be Matt. Matt the twat.
Oh, no, I
Matt the
guess.
twat.
Sorry,
Matt the twat.
sorry. There
Matty.
may have been songs where it's like Matt Murray gets a McFlurry and has a curry. That's basically about as close as we
That's
got.
devastating.
Have that.
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Murray, does your bum smell of curry? Have a smell. Fucking hell. You didn't have
no,
that?
but
You just come up
We
with
sang that, and we didn't know anyone called Matt Murray.
yeah, and then there's like Murray Mint, but again, not a lot of high quality banter in Bognor Regis Town in the late.
Kids
90s.
are terrible at this stuff, aren't they?
David Turnip.
Yep.
Oh, got him.
Might make you feel really bad, Jim.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, 6 months off school for that. So quite
No, I
tough.
didn't mind Turnip.
Quite tough
I told
childhood.
someone at work once, right? Oh no, I was called David Turnip. I said, no, mate, well, we know what we're calling you for the for the rest of the time you're here. And I went, it really doesn't bother me,
What,
mate.
David?
You could calling me a turnip does not bother me in the slightest.
No, don't. I told you, never call me a turnip.
Don't call me a turnip, man.
God, dude. Yeah. Talking to management,
allergic.
man.
Cool.
I'm allergic to them.
How long did they do it for like once? And that was it.
Who at work?
Yeah. Did they even
Yeah,
bother?
when they
Like, no,
realised
we're
they
going
didn't
to
give a
talk to the
shit,
end.
they just stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get like a new name
sorry,
badge to put on your desk.
Reverse psychology. I love it.
Daniel Charter says. Sorry.
Daniel Charter says, "Hi chappies, I'm wondering what has caused your Baldur's Gate 3 silence. Here we go, I thought to myself as David listed his most anticipated games in September. I was smiling broadly as David proceeded through his list, calling it a huge month for Planet Games? What did he mean to write there?
No,
I
I think
he
that's
means
probably right.
that for Planet Games.
Right,
as if
sorry.
Planet Games is a place.
Not games about
Yeah.
planets, but a
Or a shop
game-themed
called
planet.
Games.
It might be. I bet there is.
Huge month for my new shop.
Planet Games.
He then went on to list Starfield and a load of games I've never heard of. I was no longer smiling and my eyebrows were closely knitted together. I was frowning and steam was coming from my ears. I'm really looking forward to Baldur's Gate 3. It's the closest thing we've had to a BioWare RPG since sliced bread. Could each of you explain how pumped you are for it, please? ?
Well, Daniel, we haven't been silent. We did a news story earlier today.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Keep
actually.
up.
I bet-
Also,
come on.
Daniel Shart, if you're such a big Superpan, why have you Superpan?
Superpan. We've got our
Thank
Oh,
God.
God.
Oh,
Super fan.
It's like Sean knew. We don't have an episode name yet. What do we do? Superpan, bang.
You're a big Superpan.
Such a Superpan of Baldur's Gate. How come you spelt Baldur's incorrectly?
I was wondering that too,
In
Sean.
the,
Some fan you are.
No, I am really excited. It's been a weird one because it's kind of crept up, right? Because it's been in early access on PC for ages, but it's one of those weird early accesses where every 6 months they're like, yeah, your saves don't work anymore. So I've just like, it's been in my library for what feels like about 2 years. But
when
I'm
I
just like, well, I'm not going to
Googled
play it.
About the release date, I was like, oh, what's the release date? It says October 2020. I'm like, what? It's a different game. No, that's just when it started, early access, but now.
Yeah, well, plus it's because it's coming out on PC this week, but consoles are later. Is that right?
Yeah, not till
Yeah.
October.
So again, it's going to be this sort of staggered. It's not like holy shit, it's Baldur's Gate 3 week as far as this show's concerned. Do you know what I mean?
What's Baldur's Gate?
You never played a Baldur's Gate game?
No.
Actually, that doesn't surprise me. Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that.
Right.
So Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are these like top-down,
Isometric.
sort of isometric Dungeons and Dragons RPGs, but
You've never
like
played
with
a Baldur's Gate?
with a decent story.
Played
like,
Icewind Dale, David. Not played Icewind Dale.
You're an Icewind Dale boy.
What are you talking about?
Another game,
But
isn't it?
yeah, point is they're like the original BioWare RPG, basically, where you made a character and there was romance and decent storylines and cool characters and stuff. So yeah, whereas this one is being made by Larian Studios, who did Divinity 2 what, 5 years ago, something like that, which is still really highly regarded. Never played it. So yeah, everyone's really excited about this. Like, it is a big deal for sure. And I am keen to give it a go. But
I
as
wish
I
it
say,
was on console this week. It's annoying I have to wait.
yeah, and still no word on the Series S, well, the Xbox version, right? Because this is the one that they basically said they're struggling to get it running on they're struggling to get the co-op mode running on the Series S because it's like a split screen co-op mode.
God, I remember you reporting on that like a year ago. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, just go on
Series
about
S
it.
ruining
No, I
our
think that was
lives
only
once
a few months ago, but yeah. So there's still no release date for the Xbox version, which is frustrating. But I'll play it on PC, won't I? Because I'm cool.
Are you definitely gonna play this next week then, or this week on PC?
Well, this is it. It's like, do I play it next week, or given that I've got loads of stuff to play at the moment anyway, do I wait? Like, if one of you is going to get it on console, I'd rather wait and we all talk, like we all discover it together. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. We'll see.
Is that the way you see it? That we all discover it together?
We do. We feel our way around it together.
There's nothing better than when we're all four of us are playing a game on the same week, though.
Well, this is like
one.
So
cannot beat it.
Cheeky peek behind the curtain for the listeners. I've played about, I think, half of the first episode of the Telltale Expanse game. But Matt's probably going to play it this week, so I was just like, I'll just leave it, and then we'll, it's more of an event then, isn't it?
Discuss it next week.
Yeah.
I mean, do we do a spoiler cast, Sean? Is it going to be that?
It's tempting.
Because they've actually nailed down the release schedule. Like they say, every 2 weeks there's a new episode. It's not when's it going to be?
Yeah. But then the only thing that
was just like a normal Telltale game.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
David.
But what sort of fucks that is, I know James will be really excited to play it, but he won't be able to until next month.
Yeah, fuck him.
Well, that's what happens when you go to Redacted.
But then it'll also be interesting because I know, like, Matt, The Expanse is a series of books and also a series of television programs, which, for my money, is the best science fiction thing ever made. Yeah, it's just really
it's amazing.
But it's a bit of a slow burn at first, the TV show, because it started out on the Sci-Fi Channel with a shit budget. And then season 3, I think it went to Amazon, and suddenly
I remember you and James talking about it.
Yeah, it's fucking fascinating. Like the fact that I'm fucking talking about it now. Let's move on. Next week.
No, just on TV show. Like everyone said it was so good.
Dragging it out, Dave.
I was like, Jill, like we've got to watch this. Jill, who gives a fuck? I love to leave early. We've got Love Island to watch. And I was like, Jill, we've got to watch this. Everyone's raving about The Expanse. We've got to watch it. And I eventually convinced her to watch it. And then we watched it like the first 3 episodes. This is made for like 45 quid. It's like I mean, I'm not sure what we were watching before, but clearly probably some HBO big budget show. Watch this. This is a joke.
Maybe. Every time Matt gets out of line, what do you think?
Fucking hell, I can't even talk on my own bloody podcast, innit?
So yeah, it will be an interesting discussion because obviously because I know too much about
Dave,
it.
get the thing.
Matt doesn't know much about it.
Murray exclusive.
Whereas, easy for me to be like, well, don't fucking play it if you don't know the show. But then I hadn't seen any Walking Dead. I hadn't seen, I hadn't read any fables.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, I might play this.
But
I was thinking
this isn't a prequel though.
It is a prequel, yes.
Okay, so that's
what I mean. So it's not even going to spoil anything particularly. I don't think.
I was thinking today how much I wanted a new Life is Strange game, especially an episodic one, so we could.
Well, let's do it. Yeah, Dave. I think every 2 or 3 weeks. Basically, they've already got the nailed down release dates for the 5 episodes.
Yeah. It's like every couple of weeks, I think.
Fuck.
So Daniel, that's our talk about Baldur's Gate 3.
They're out on consoles, right? This is out on consoles.
Yeah. Okay. Episode 1's out on Xbox. Well, I mean, they will be out at one point. I'm going to write notes just in case.
All right, cool. I might be. That might be something that I do. Okay, fine. Next.
Sky says about 2 years ago, everyone at work found out that I dress in drag.
Bastards. God.
No one's going to get that.
No one's going to get that.
No.
About 2 years ago, everyone at work found out that I dress in drag. I wasn't embarrassed, just a little concerned about my safety. Luckily, no one gave a shit. If you dress in drag, what colour are your nails, eyeshadow, and dress?
Good question.
That's really
It's difficult to answer.
I'm terrible with I quite like my clothes, but in terms of colours, I'm very fucking boring.
You are talking to 3 of the most unfashionable people in the
world. This is impossible to answer. Because it's all about the event, where you're going, the vibe.
True. Like, what's
I can't say blue.
What's the Well, I mean, you could.
Blue.
It's a boring answer, but you could.
Yeah.
No, it
The
depends
problem is,
what
my favourite.
what the vibe is.
This is really bad. This is how bad I am. My favourite colour of top, be it t-shirt or polo shirt, is grey. So it's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I've not got the scope for it. But if I was guessing,
go on.
it'd be blue. It'd be navy blue for my football club.
I do
and
like
turning up at the Den in drag.
I do
I'm
like
sure
blue.
that'll. Yeah.
I do like
go
blue
down well.
clothes. Jeans, blue.
Jeans are good. They're blue.
They're good. Yeah, they're good in blue.
Jeans are good. Yeah, it's very hard to do this because it would depend where we're going. So maybe Sky come back with like, what's the event, what's the kind of clientele, and then we'll go from there.
This is it because I don't know loads about drag, but it feels almost disrespectful to just be like, oh, well, I like this color, so it's like because there's so much more thought goes into it, right?
Yeah, but they must sit there and go, oh, what color do I want? That's one of the.
I guess, but I feel like there's a whole thought process. So it seems really shitty to just be like, oh, purple nails, blue eyeshadow, green dress,
luminous
what
dress.
Grinding down that question
because like during COVID, I kept getting on my high horse about how like loads of like performers, entertainers, whatever, couldn't do their own shit, right? They didn't know how to like record or film stuff.
Right.
Fucking drag queens did, right? Like stuff that drag queens were doing was like technically really accomplished, like during COVID. And I was like, yeah, because I don't know if that's just a thing that like drag queens are just much more like self-sufficient as performers. So I found that super interesting. But you all got Elgatos, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry for the disappointing answer, Sky.
Yeah, we will need more. Just give us more information, Sky, and we'll give her a banger.
Give us like a
week.
brief.
No.
Yes.
No. Let's not do that. That's the wrong question to ask. Sky, we want to know what you think would look good in. Let us know what colour you think we should be wearing.
You do the work.
Yeah, you do the work.
That's good. Yeah.
I mean this is the Thorn else we're talking to, but I appreciate the support, Sky. Also, put you back into it. Come on.
Darren Gargett says Pikmin 4 recommended that I try the art of Dandori at home. For those who don't know, it's basically making the best use of time by plate spinning / multitasking. I tried it myself this morning by having a shower and masturbating whilst taking a shit on an old potty. I saved about 6 minutes, but the mess afterwards isn't worth it. Have you tried Dandori at home? And what became of it?
Tell me, why is Darren not on Kane Vince anymore?
My word.
I can't handle him.
No, I've not tried that. Well, I don't understand. What is it, the spinning plates thing? What's that?
Oh, I mean, we're always multitasking at home. That's what happens.
Exactly. That's you don't need a name for that. It's just what you do, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm quite bad at that. Like, I feel like I just do one thing at a time, and no other jobs exist sort of before or after the thing I'm currently doing. Yeah.
But when I'm in the kitchen, it's madness. It's when I get up in the morning, I go in the kitchen. It's usually bread in the thing first. No, it's not. It's fill up the
coffee
water
machine
thing on my coffee machine.
Yeah.
Then it's bread in the toaster, 4 slices. Then it's start the coffee machine off. And then I'm making the kids drinks while the toaster's going away. They pop up. I sort their toast out. Give that to them and their drinks. And then I put 2 more slices of toast in for me, or bread in for me, before I finish my coffee off with the milk and everything. And then just by that time, pop up goes my toast, and lovely old job.
Yeah, and the kids have got wet toast, and you're eating toast in the coffee machine.
Oh fuck! This is barely relevant, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
Welcome to TCGS.
A couple of weeks ago, I was doing bedtime with Isaac, and he'd had like an early tea, and then he was getting into bed, and he's like, "Dad, I'm still hungry." I was like, "All right, I'm like, I'll get you some cereal." And that overheard, and she's like, "It's all right, I'll get it. You stay with him." I was like, "All right, fine." Brings his bowl of cereal.
And you're like, "Okay, two then."
Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, yeah.
While you go down there, I love a bowl of cereal.
I'll a bit of a bowl of Wheatos. Yeah, she brings a bowl of cereal up. Isaac has like one spoonful of this cereal, and he's like, "Daddy, it's yucky." I was like, "What do you mean it's yucky? Like it's fucking bowl of Weetos with milk. Like, what do you mean it's yucky?" And he's like, "Tastes like lemons." I was like, "What on earth are you talking about?" Tried it, and I was like, "Yeah, this does taste bad.
It does taste like lemons.
It does taste really bad." And then, but I was like, "This can't be true. Like, what has gone wrong? It's like it's a bottle of milk that we've been using all day. It's not been like left out or anything. It's it's a box of Weetos. Why does it taste weird?" Nu then creeps in and she's like, "Does the cereal taste weird?" And I was like, "Yeah, it does. What's going on?" She's like, "Yeah, I was making a gin at the same time. I think I squeezed the lime in the cereal."
Also, the gin.
Yeah. But like, fair play to Isaac for being like, "Oh, it tastes like lemons," like straight away.
Straight away. That reminds me of the time when I had a bread roll in my at like my hat when I was living at home, and I remember like when you have like menthol in your mouth and you breathe in and it's really cold.
Yeah.
I had that while I was eating the bread roll, and I was like, "That's fucking weird." and then I burped, and it was like flowers coming through my nose, and I went, "Right, something's going on here." I went back and looked, and my mum had left a Glade plug-in on the side on top of the roll, and the oil from the Glade plug-in had seeped out all into the roll. Wonderful burps I had that day, but obviously I nearly died.
Lovely aroma.
One question I know we're talking about silly little tasks like this. Am I the only one that this happens to? And if not, what is the scientific reason for this happening? Do you really need a piss whenever you brush your teeth? Is that not something you experience?
I do often do that because it's in the same room.
I know, but
I'm piss? Oh, see, mine's not. My toilet's in a different room to where I brush my teeth. Shit.
That doesn't happen to me, but I can totally understand it just being like a contextual sort of cue, right?
Yeah,
like I've had times when I've thought like, "Oh man, like I need to go. I haven't been to the toilet for ages. I need a wee," and then I've like walked to the toilet and been like, "No, I went to the toilet like 5 minutes ago," and then I don't need a wee anymore.
Really?
Do you know, yeah.
I've never had that.
That's
because I've just remembered
because you've gone on the way.
Yeah, probably. I just pissed myself.
Because you got no,
do you know what I mean? So it's like an amount of that sensation of needing the toilet is just in your own head. Like,
yeah, if I haven't been for a wee for like 2 hours and then I start brushing my teeth, suddenly I'm like, "Oh my god, I really need to go." Right, okay, maybe it's just me.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people in the chat go, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, I have often, like in the morning, I'll just like brush my teeth and go for a piss at the same time, and then Jill complains.
That's
just
wrong to me. Yeah, that's
Jill. There's fucking toothpaste in the toilet. I was like, "What? I don't know how that got there. That could be anyone."
I mean, it's better than piss in the sink, right?
Right, that was just at university,
Sean.
When I put a sink in your room, what can you do?
That's our chat about multitasking.
That's answering the question, Darren.
Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS controllers, the news story about pizza-scented Xbox controllers not only made me hungry, but also made me realise that the only sense that gaming has yet to tap into is taste. How do you think games will eventually integrate and engage the mouths of gamers, and which company will be the most successful in this regard?"
Oh, wait, hold on.
Go
on. But also made me realise that the only sense that gaming has yet to tap into is taste. Right. Surely a tube that goes into like that.
One just sprays flavours at you.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo would just package, I can see them packaging sweet or some weird flavoured things. You're playing the game, this level, get it in your mouth, and you can
That'd
taste...
be a Kojima thing.
I mean, to be fair...
I could see Shigsy doing that.
I've been doing this with the Far Cry 2 streams, though, haven't I? Every time a guy takes his malaria pills, I have a Pez. And I've actually run out, and I'm not buying anymore because I was just fucking eating a lot and feeling really bad.
Isn't this your second order?
I find that so bizarre that you're the only person that I know that likes the taste of those things.
Oh, mate, they're amazing.
I haven't had one in about a billion years.
Because I really love, because I really like Parma Violets, which I know is weird, but I love them, like Love Hearts, like that sort of chalky.
Love Heart's
sugary
good. Parma
shit.
Violets. Bit blend.
Yeah, no, I don't get it. I do not get it. There's nothing in a game that I'd want to taste ever.
That's just it, isn't it? Well, because food is very rarely a focus, right?
Very good.
Like what games make a big deal about food? So Venba has come out today. That's meant to be really good.
Yes, yeah. I'm really excited to play that. Yeah. Is that just PC only, or is that console?
I think that's console as well.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Shit, yeah. Tears of the Kingdom.
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
Yakuza
as well. That's like, eating food gives you like status effects and stuff.
Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2.
Have a big old taste of chicken when you're when you need some health.
Street Fighter 2.
Oh, not Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage.
I fucked it.
It's a shame. No,
I fucked it.
Venba's on Game Pass, Pubis. Brilliant, even better.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that's reviewed really well today, so that's on the list as well.
What's Venba?
It is, as far as I'm aware, about cooking and culture. That's all I've taken from the reviews.
That's pretty much. Yeah, that's what I would have said.
Yeah,
sick of games trying to fucking introduce me to new ideas. Leave me alone.
Eating.
I just want to play.
Nice
clearly not a new idea on me, but I just want to play Rocket League now, please. Thank you.
Venba looks good. What's the question? I can see Nintendo doing that. I mean,
do you reckon?
Yeah, just Mario games and even like was it in what?
No, you can't. You can't see Nintendo doing that. You can't. Why are you saying it?
Because
you don't believe it.
I 100% can. Like they're the one of the few companies that could do it or would do it, and it would like work in their own way.
You're saying Nintendo will do something where you can taste along with playing the game.
I'm saying they could.
No, you're saying you could see them doing it.
Yeah, I could see them do it. Well, okay, I could. If there's anyone to do it, they would probably be the ones to do it. Whether they would, I'm not sure.
Fine.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it. This is a stupid idea.
Oh, they probably are, but let's not slag off Maria Mendiet's question. I was just trying to, get into
I'm slagging off your insincere answer.
Well, no, who else actually do that?
Guys?
Look, they're the only ones that would be like, dumb enough to do some crazy idea like that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Oh, yes.
The mushrooms in Mario.
Here we go.
In the various Mario games, do they taste like mushrooms or coconut mushrooms?
Why coconut mushrooms?
Because
they look a bit like coconut mushrooms.
Yeah, coconut mushrooms.
Well, two factors there.
They
look a bit like coconut mushrooms, and two, I hate mushrooms, but I love coconut mushrooms.
Whoa, you hate mushrooms?
Yeah, I can't stand them. It's like one of my few things I just cannot. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I love mushrooms.
Coconut mushrooms look horrendous.
What?
Amazing.
Yeah, but you like them though, Dave, right?
Ugh, they look like mold.
You've had what? You've had them before though, right?
Oh, are they sweets? Oh,
yeah.
Sweets. No, I don't like coconut anyway. I don't like that.
What? You don't like coconut? Do you like a Bounty?
No, I fucking hate Bounty.
Oh, mate. I could go for a Bounty right now.
Although I had a real coconut in Hong Kong and it was not as nice as a Bounty. So I learned my lesson. I was like, here we go. I was like, no, this is horrible. Where's the chocolate?
Yeah. No, they taste like normal mushrooms, Sean.
Ooh.
No, I like to think coconut mushrooms. That's a great shout, actually, Sean.
Thank you.
Because they are bloody lovely coconut mushrooms.
Where did the idea of Mario eating them come from, though? Because he doesn't.
Does he not? What does he do with them?
In any of the games, has he ever eaten them?
He just sort of collects them, doesn't he?
Sort of just infuses with them, doesn't he?
But he just pushes it into his skin.
I mean, that's what I do when I buy a bag of them.
Well, he eats them in the film. If the film's canon, then...
If the film, is it? I don't know. I guess it is.
Don't know.
Okay.
Ben in the chat saying, what sort of normal mushroom? It doesn't matter. They're all disgusting.
Bottom mushroom.
Right, last one. MD Krabuffs.
Sorry, Sean. I thought you were gonna say is that like is it their heads or is it their hats? I thought that was a question. Was gonna be like
Yeah. And are they sentient? Do they taste like meat?
Yeah.
Because they're living
creatures. Are they
creatures.
bored underneath? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. MD Krabuff says after the never seen the Godfather.
To getting the air horn, then you were so fucking close.
Fucking hell, Dave! I was chatting with my friends on the podcast. What's wrong with you?
Well, one more minute. Then we've done 2 hours. We can go home. MD Krabuff.
Radio territory.
MD Mr. D. Kraboffs says, after the Never Seen the Godfather chat, I was astounded that the words gangster calls were not said. Do you get many suggestions for the new Calls podcasts? What were the worst ones? We haven't for a while, have we?
Someone said, why don't you do Lord of the Ring calls or whatever?
No, because it would call Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, but it doesn't work with it's a series, isn't it? It's got to have calls in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, do I mention the idea that I had?
This is interesting because Matt and I had a conversation. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but
no, go on. I'm interested. I don't
know. I don't want to say in case we do it.
Well,
we would tell you, obviously. Yes, I wouldn't keep it a secret from you for 6 months. That'd be weird.
That.
Yeah, that'd be really
fucking
strange.
do that.
You've kept this bit a secret from us, so
what?
a few texts privately about you.
Yeah, a few texts that happened like 2 days ago. And,
do you know what? Quickly, just text me. Just text me what it is, and just I'll people can see my reaction. No, so we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of doing a year-long series called Daily Calls, where me and James, no matter what happens throughout the year, we have to call each other for at least 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Every single
you should
day.
absolutely.
I've sent you a message, Dave.
All right. What did you have down? I don't even know what that is.
Oh, well, there you go.
I thought you might say that.
I don't reckon that's carte blanche, Matt. Let's go.
I thought you might have said that, yeah.
Okay. All right. Good luck with that.
I haven't heard of
that. But yeah, I think
we are
during
still paying for that thing, aren't we? So we are still paying for that fucking Marvel Call server, so we might as well do something with it.
Oh, that's
no, because that's just a Marvel. We can't unless we call that the calls.
The calls
channel.
Yeah, you would just rename
rebrand
the channel,
it,
wouldn't you? For whatever. But I like the Daily Calls thing, but sure, it's so funny. James is half I want to do this, and also half this will ruin my life.
I was going to say, I reckon 2 weeks. I think you'd hit a rhythm after a bit, but there would come a point where you're like, "What the fuck did we agree to do this?
What are we going to talk about?"
Yeah.
Nothing's happened, or
but
God forbid a tragedy happens, and you got to call me. Do you
know
what I mean?
I mean, you do kind of try and find creativity in every single day. When I was doing the blog a day and photo a day in 2010, it was a nightmare. But I look back, I'm like, it was a cool thing to do. But then every day, what can I see? What am I doing? You're trying to think of things you did in your day. It's not just what did you do? I went to work, went to bed. It's so you do try and find things you do in your day or make things happen to talk about it, even briefly, for the blog at that time. So 50 minutes you could easily it'll be a great achievement. What series to do? So
50? I said 15.
Yeah, I said 15. I'm just
right.
You should absolutely do it. You should do it. If it's a tragedy and there'll be good times, bad times, what a way to capture it.
That sounds horrible.
Anyway, over the whole year, there's going to be loads of ups and loads of downs, isn't there? There's going to be loads of ups and downs in a year.
If you want. Yeah, you can do yours first.
See you in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Honestly, I'd like for you to experience what it's like doing a fucking extra podcast a week.
This is it.
It fucking kills you.
I think we'd probably allow ourselves longer, but then that means it wouldn't. Yeah, it would literally be a year before it came out.
I also we discussed possibly doing Beatle calls as well, which was quite a good one. Where Matt says that he's never listened to a Beatles album all the way through. So for him to go through the albums one by one, I like the idea of that.
Yeah, that would be good actually.
I don't know. Next.
I don't know.
Oh, was that it?
That is it.
We're done. We made it over 2 hours, Matt. Are you happy?
Short show.
No, not really. I wanted to leave early today.
Why do you lie?
Why do you lie?
Go on.
Got things to do. Streams. Surely stream on Thursday.
Yes, assuming my brain does. So this was the day where I was dying because of Banished Vault last week. That's why I couldn't stream Far Cry 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you say? What did you say then? I'm streaming what? It sounded like you said, I'm streaming my brain out. That's what it sounded like you said.
I mean, in a way, That is what is happening. No, so I'll stream assuming my brain doesn't explode or something. I can't remember.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a second go at Far Cry 2 permadeath. Let's see how that goes.
Right.
Nice. That's Thursday night on twitch.tv/TCGSCO from 9. No, James, obviously, he's away. If you miss Sean's live stream, you can watch it on YouTube. We're on Patreon, we're on the website, we're on other places. Done.
All right.
Yeah, he
There we
does want to
go.
go, doesn't he? Jesus Christ.
He does want to go. We will catch you next week for some more video game chit chat. I'm going to say what I said last week with John Denton. We'll see you then. Take it easy. Have a lovely week. I love you all. Goodbye.
Bye.